Eurystheus had learned something. Strength alone would not stop Heracles. So this time he did not send him toward danger. He placed the danger around him. "Bring me the golden hind of Cerynea," the king said. Cerynea was not a creature, it was a place. A stretch of quiet land, forests, hills, and open ground where something swift could move unseen for a very long time. It sounded simple. That's how Eurystheus wanted it to sound. The creature was sacred to Artemis, though, and that meant that the task had already begun to close in. If Heracles failed to catch it, he would fail the task. If he succeeded and harmed it, he would answer to a goddess. There was no clean way through. Heracles understood this, and he went anyway. When Heracles first saw the hind, she did not panic. She simply moved, and in a moment she was gone. He followed. At first, he tried to close the distance, but that didn't last long. The hind was faster than anything he had faced before. So, he changed tactics. He began to watch instead of chase, to set traps and nets only to see it glide right over them. Days passed, then weeks, long enough for the air to change and the ground beneath his feet to feel different, for the world to move forward while he remained no closer to catching the hind. This was not a battle of strength, it was one of patience. And in that patience, something shifted. He stopped trying to win and started trying to understand. When the moment finally came, it did not look like victory. There was no giant clash, no great struggle, only proper timing. Heracles caught the hind alive, and more importantly, unharmed. He lifted her carefully across his shoulders and began the journey back, not as something that he had taken, but as something that he would soon return. The forest grew quiet as he walked, not all at once, but enough to notice. And then, "You dare!" Heracles stopped immediately. Artemis was standing before him now, bow already drawn. Her gaze moved from the hind to him. "You would take what is mine." Heracles lowered himself to one knee. "I was commanded." "That is not an answer." Her voice did not rise. It did not need to. "You knew what she was," Artemis said. "And yet you still came." "I did." "And you would harm her for that command?" "No," he answered without hesitation. "I would not." That held her attention more than his strength ever could. "Then why do you carry her now?" she asked. Heracles did not hesitate. "I was told to bring her back, or I fail the labors I must complete to cleanse my mistake." Heracles met her eyes. There was a quiet shift in her expression. Not one of anger, but recognition. Just then, another voice entered the conversation. "Sister." Apollo stepped forward from the trees, calm and steady. He looked at Heracles for a moment, long enough to understand. "We've seen this before," he said quietly. He glanced back at the hind, then to Heracles. "Hera has a way of placing him when no choice comes clean." Artemis did not look away from Heracles. "Yes," she said, "we have." There was a brief silence between them, not one of confusion, but agreement. Heracles said nothing, but he felt like something had just passed between them, but it was not meant for him. Artemis lowered her bow. "This was not chosen by you." It was not a question. Heracles gave the smallest nod. Now she understood, and that understanding changed the moment. "And what did you expect to happen next?" she asked. "You return her to your king and leave her there?" "No," said Heracles. "I bring her as I was told. Then I let her go." The answer was simple. That made it hard to ignore. "You will return her to the wild," she said. "I will." Another moment passed. Then she stepped aside. "Then you have my blessing." Apollo said nothing more, But as Heracles passed, he gave a slight nod. Not approval exactly, but something quieter, familiar, as if he recognized him, even if Heracles did not yet understand why. When Heracles entered Mycenae, the court gathered quickly. The golden hind drew every eye. Eurystheus came forward at once, already imagining what it would mean to possess something so rare and beautiful.
"To think," he said, "such a beautiful creature could be mine."
Heracles bowed his head.
"Come forward, my king," he said. "She is yours for the taking."
It sounded like obedience. It was not. As Eurystheus stepped closer and reached out to take the hind, Heracles shifted his weight. Only slightly, but it was just enough that the hind felt it. In an instant she broke free, tearing across the stone courtyard, past the guards, through the open court, and gone in a flash. No one was able to move quickly enough to stop her. Eurystheus turned around in absolute fury.
"You have failed."
Heracles did not raise his voice.
"I have fulfilled your command, my king. Some things are not meant to be kept by those who cannot hold them."
He held the king's gaze as a low murmur fell over the court. Eurystheus heard it, felt it, and for the first time said nothing, because there was nothing he could say. But the next task would not wait quietly in the forest. It would not move like light through the trees. It would come down from the mountains, loud, heavy, and impossible to ignore. And this time, Heracles would not be following something. He would be standing his ground. Thank you for spending time here at Mesa's place. The next labor will test something different, not patience, but control. If you'd like to continue the journey, you can subscribe and return when you're ready. You're always welcome here.